What's up guys, MMAGAME here, bringing you another video. This video is going to be about some of the issues that I think that this game has. There is not too many and they're not very big, but I just want to do a video on just my opinion on some of the things that could be fixed with the game. And I want to start off by saying that this fight in the background is from a live stream that I recently had on twitch.tv. The link for that is in the description. We've been having a lot of fun on the stream. The chat is really fun. We're talking about MMA, all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of fun. So if you want to head over there and hit follow, that would be awesome. I'm trying to stream at least, every other day or so like that. But I have a lot of fun with it. So definitely go ahead and check that out. But for starters, things that, this game has been supported with tons of patches. And I'll say right off the bat that it's way better than it originally was on launch day. It's completely a different game. They've added all types of animations, new fighters, all kinds of stuff, and I gotta say a big thank you to EA for everything they've done with the game. But also I think there's a few things that remain that could be tweaked slightly to make the game even more balanced and overall more competitive and less random. So getting right into it, for starters, I have a whole lot of experience playing the game. I have over 5,000 ranked fights, which is pretty crazy. But again, none of these changes I think need to be major changes, just slight tweaks. But starting off is the block, and this could actually be addressed. It could be changed in different ways, I think. But I think that they really have messed around a lot with the block in the past patches. But they tried to limit its effectiveness, and then they tried to make it a little bit more effective. But if you remember the patch before this current one, the block was actually not very effective at all, and you could really just, jab people down and totally get through their block because it would take stamina. In the way that they balance those two things, the stamina drain with the effectiveness of the block. So right off the bat, I think that something needs to be changed. Maybe they go back, because I think the block is just a little bit too effective right now. Just holding one button, you're able to really block a lot of damage. And you can definitely see this with how certain players fight. They really rely on the block. And when you mix that effective block with the speed that people can move backwards, I knock him down right here. This is actually a pretty crazy fight, and it was just completely epic. Back and forth war. And I'll address one of the survival techniques I do in Mount. I think I might have already done it, but basically what you want to do to survive Mount if you're death rocked is you want to just hold L1 and time a transition when they go into Mount right before they land the strike. So as he drops me right there and he goes to Mount, I'm just waiting while I'm laying on the ground to time that transition right, and you just keep transitioning, and you will actually get out of it. And it happened to me, so then I tried it, so that's kind of just how I figured it out. I did not figure that out on my own, but that's how you do it. Anyway, getting back to the block, basically this is the biggest change I think that needs to be, and I think that they couldn't maybe not mess with block at all and just affect movement speed, because when you combine these two and you're able to get away from your opponent so easily with how you can just back up so fast and block, it's extremely difficult to even land a punch, especially if you have a guy that's shorter, with short range, like especially like a just a really short fighter who doesn't have the range, even like Oyama or any of these guys who are really short, Eric Perez, these guys do not have range. And when you mix that with the block, it's just incredibly difficult to get any damage done on your opponents. So, and you can get through the block by mixing it up head, body, but with that range and with the movement. So one of the solutions, this is just my opinion, you could leave in the comments any of your guys' opinions on what you think you could do to kind of fix some of these issues, like I said, minor issues, is I think that they could implement something where if you're moving forward, it's going to increase your speed by a certain percent, a very, very small percent, but a percent nonetheless. Now, if you're moving backwards, I think it should, you know, reduce your speed. Right here I get rocked again, trying to survive, get dropped, and I'm going to go for the same thing I did before. Right here I'm going for transitions, as you can see, and these punches just aren't doing damage. I don't know what is going on with that, but you can survive that way. But anyway, so yeah, when you're backing up, I think it should slow you down a little bit. And if they did this, they wouldn't have to do anything to the block. They could just do this. If they don't do this, then I think they do need to address the block and sort of make its effectiveness lower and make the punches do more damage through the block, because that's just my personal opinion. Another thing that needs to be changed just right off the bat is I'm sure all of you who've played this game have experienced this, the random switch stance that happens, and it'll just do it from time to time randomly. You'll kind of just switch your stance. If you've ever go shoot for takedowns or stuff like that, when you stand back up, it'll switch your stance for you, and you're basically completely defenseless when it does that. So they just need to remove that and make it so wherever stance you're at, it just doesn't switch you at all. And all the next adjustments are just very minor. For starters, I think that the ground game needs to be slightly tweaked with the timing on the amount of time you have to deny transitions almost across the board, but primarily in when you're on top in the dominant positions in mount, back mount, or the side back mount. I think it's a little bit too easy to hold people in those positions and needs to be slightly more difficult, because a lot of times you'll get a fighter there, especially back mount, and if a good fighter has you there, it's just there's nowhere you can go. And I understand it should be a dominant position. I do not disagree with that. I just think it needs to be a little bit less powerful, and the way that I think they could do that would be to limit or reduce the amount of time given for the opponent on top to deny the person on bottom's transition, so it's a little bit easier to transition out and survive. Not only survive, but escape, because right now the only option you really have is to just survive. So that's that. Moving on next, I think the clinch needs a little bit of work as well. They did fix it slightly, but I still think it's a little bit too easy to hold people in a clinch, especially when there's something with the timing. I don't exactly know, but I think the person needs a better chance of escaping. I think they could just do it just with the timing again, just lower the timing a little bit and just make it a little bit harder to hold people in, because there are people who are beginning to sort of do the same strategy they did before, or just make it so you can only block one transition, or add a third transition, left, right, and up, because right now you only have to deny 2 when you're in the clinch right now, as opposed to 3 on the ground. So I think if they just made it 3 in the clinch, that would be perfectly fine. It would fix absolutely everything. Let me know in the comments again. And next is the submissions. Very, very small thing in the submissions is I think that they fixed the amount of time. If you go for a submission and you miss it, I think the time in which you can go for the next submission is too fast, and I think that just needs to be a little bit reduced. But yeah, that's all the things for the submission. Is I think there just needs to be a time in between. Like if you go for it and get denied, you gotta wait. There should be a timer that just doesn't even allow you to go for another one until a certain time, because you can just go for a submission, deny, go for a submission, deny, you can just keep doing it over and over. As I get the knockout from mount right there, big comeback with Tarek Safadine. But that is the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave in the comments any of your guys' opinions or solutions to any of these issues, or any issues that you think need to be changed in the game. Other than that, again, head over on to Twitch TV, check out the stream, follow me on Twitter as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Until next time, this has been MMA Game. Peace.